There was a firefight!
Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of all of the games. Now I'm sure you heard the news already. Path of Exile 2 is dropping April 4th. Last Epoch Season 2 is April 2nd. We've also got Diablo 4 and No Rest for the Wicked. Yesterday was a real wild day. And you probably know this about me unless you're new here. I really don't do reaction content. I have almost 2,000 videos on YouTube, and you can probably count on both your hands how many reactions I have. That being said, I do plan on this week reacting to all the big creators on this last Epoch GGG news, because honestly, I'm just very curious where everyone stands. So if you're not a big fan of React content, totally get it. This video has been sent to me over and over again today. This is 12 minutes of Raxx talking about the drama and everything that's happening. I plan on watching it anyways, so I just figured we can watch it together. Let's see Raxx's opinion on the situation.
Hi everyone, it's Raxx. Today has been an extremely interesting day, so I got a pretty good video for you today. There's so much news about all the different ARPGs, Last Epoch, Diablo 4, Path of Exile 2, No Rest for the Wicked, drama. Myself, Gazzy, DM, Zizarin, and Woody chatted about it for like 2 hours on stream. I guess that's enough hype. Let's just get into it. So let's start with No Rest for the Wicked. I'll save the drama for the end. Maybe we can timestamp this. You can go to the drama if you want. No Rest for the Wicked. Do you guys know what that game is, or do you remember that game?
I do.
It's a Souls-like ARPG. Well, they had an announcement today, and you can see over here in this column, they updated literally everything about the game. I mean, like actually everything. The game is now going to be twice as big, and it's already a decent game. They redid the campaign with new zones, new side quests. They have new weapons. After you beat the already twice as big campaign, they have a new end game system where like blight or pestilence or something spreads around the world. You have to cleanse it. It spawns bosses.
This update comes April 30th. We watched it as a community live, and I put out a video after. I really think No Rest for the Wicked, yes, it is not a blasting ARPG, but I think it's going to have a pretty bright future for people that like that kind of slower gameplay.
There's endgame crafting. There's tons of quality of life. They gave you way more stash space. They completely redid how loot is happening. And this is launching on April 30th. I really like this game. I like this game so much. Like a lot of streamers will say, oh, I really like No Rest for the Wicked. Well, you want to know a little fact about me? I beat it twice. Full game clear twice. So I actually really do like this game, and I'm going to be playing it for sure. April 30th. Now, let's go to Diablo 4. Diablo 4 released the first day of their PTR, and usually I make a separate video for it, but I can summarize my findings pretty quickly here.
Oh boy.
So the new stuff is here. The Uber boss, Belial, is not in the, from what I'm hearing, it's actually not even in the PTR. So we can't test that. The bosses got reworked, and I didn't get to test this, but Woody did, and Woody said that progressing through like the torments and the bosses are actually significantly harder, as Blizzard said that they would be. So progressing through is going to be tougher, so that takes care of these things. There's new uniques and boss powers. I purposely didn't test the boss powers, even though I unlocked them. And the reason why I didn't is because I want to save it for the launch. I want to have fun. If I try them all now, then that's going to, I'm not trying to be negative at all, but usually in Diablo 4, the content gets consumed very quickly. If I play with the boss powers now, then what am I going to do?
No, Raxx is spot on. So many times I've played PTR and it basically ruins the season, which totally makes sense because you get to experience all the new stuff already. And normally we play D4 for only 2 or 3 days before we get burned out. So I totally get his point.
Later on, so I purposely didn't use them. But I did test the leveling. And I leveled, you can see the timer, 3 hours and 19 minutes. I had some crashes at the end. I was only level 58 and a half. But I had so many crashes and bugs that I think on the actual launch, you're going to do it in about 3 hours. They said they wanted to make the leveling about twice as long. That was absolutely not what happened. You're going to go 1 to 60 in 3 hours, unless they change something. And I believe that this comes out the 29th. So the 29th and then the 30th for this is not exactly favorable. But, well, more on that in a second. So then we got PoE2 news, and here's where kind of the drama sets in.
Here we go.
We already know PoE2 is going to get a lot of stuff. They're going to get at least one new class. I think they said it was like the Huntress or the Amazon or something with the javelins. Look really cool. They're going to update the end game and the gems and the passive tree and the end game passive tree and the towers. Are we going to get a new act? We're not sure. They updated weapon swap and weapons and uniques. That's what we know about so far. I think they're doing a conversation about everything at the end of March. So that's happening.
Their big marketing push has now started, and their update, this 020 reveal, is coming March 27th.
But the controversy comes from it's launching April 4th. And the weird thing about that is Last Epoch has announced in February that their big, huge update, if you don't remember, class rework, crafting, a new faction, dungeon rework, new sets, and the set rework about salvaging set bonuses and putting on your items, new bosses, champions, 30 new uniques, I think they said. WASD is now in the game, idle crafting in the end game. It launches April 2nd. So essentially right next to PoE2. April 2nd, then April 4th, right next to each other, and then these two are right next to each other. I would really doubt that these dates, I would doubt that these two companies maybe pay attention to each other's dates at all. But over here, Tencent owns 100% of Grinding Gear Games. And I think they own, I don't know, 25% of Last Epoch. And according to Zizrin, they're actually aware of this. And they're launching essentially on the same day. So
Tencent owns 100% of GGG. Tencent owns 20% of Last Epoch. And PoE2 and, or GGG and 11th Hour Games are friendly. They do communicate. They do chat. You know, they throw ideas off each other. GGG always compliments 11th Hour Games on Last Epoch and vice versa. They are friends. I don't know if they're friends anymore.
2 days apart. So we had a big discussion about it, and we seem to be have a general conclusion here that this setup really hurts Last Epoch mostly. So the people that absolutely blast PoE, and that's like their only game, they're completely unaffected by this. They don't care. They just want the PoE content to be out as soon as it's ready. So it comes out on the 4th. But I think Last Epoch is going to hurt here. I think it's PoE being the bigger game currently. I think them going 2 days later is going to really cannibalize them. And then there's all these conspiracy theories about, oh, Tencent did this on purpose so Last Epoch would suffer, and then they could buy out the last 75% of EHG cheaper. That was a conspiracy theory that Gazi shared. Not
no
the
way.
Craziest idea
I don't believe that. No way. I don't know, maybe.
But it really hurts EHG with Last Epoch, and really fans of both of the games. The general sentiment that I was hearing from people was they'll play Last Epoch for 2 days, and when PoE content comes out, it's PoE time, and Last Epoch can just go away for all they care. My personal opinion is I like Last Epoch. I think the game is fun. I think the game is better than most people give it credit for. And I would personally like to play Last Epoch for more than 2 days. So my current plan, I might change it, but my current plan would be to play Last Epoch the 2nd and the 3rd, play PoE2 on the 4th, and then play half and half Last Epoch and PoE2 for the next few days until I'm guessing I get bored of Last Epoch first, but we'll see how it goes. That would be my current plan. But then
that's going to be really hard because you might have different audiences and different wants, and one game will likely pull more viewers than the other game, which as a content creator, like, come on. I would Raxx is my friend, but I would venture to guess that most of the bigger creators, like, of course, you know, this is a business, this is a job. Obviously, you want to play what you want, but PoE 2 is a juggernaut. It is massive. The game is huge. I would venture to guess that PoE 2 coming out 2 days after Last Epoch, 11th Hour Games loses 95% of all of their content creators. And sure, some will bounce back and forth, of course, but, you know, most content creators for Path of Exile 2 had the most followers, the most subs, the most interactions, like insane events, like breaking all their previous records. And of course, they want to try to repeat that with what happened at PoE's launch. I totally get it. I don't fault any creators for jumping ship. I think it sucks, but I get it.
Next thought here is, can either of them change their dates? Well, I think PoE 2 definitely knew Last Epoch's date ahead of time. So if they wanted to change their date, they wouldn't have picked the 4th. So I think PoE 2 is set in stone that they're going on the 4th. So then it's up to Last Epoch. What do they want to do? One thing that's very difficult to move around, or at least to set up administratively, is Twitch drops. So I think that they've already nailed that down with Twitch to have the Twitch drops start on April 2nd. I don't know, maybe they could move that, but that might add like a difficulty here. And maybe Last Epoch just doesn't want to deal with it. Maybe they say, we're not moving again. I know that they've moved their dates for other games in the past, and maybe they're getting sick of being pushed around. I'm really not sure. But especially since they're both owned by Tencent, I would personally, as an ARPG enjoyer, and honestly, we could say it over here about D4 and No Rest for the Wicked, can we declare some kind of ceasefire here? Like when we know another game is about to come at a certain time, can we not schedule it, like, I don't know, within 2 days of each other or within the same day? Honestly, if you go later, even a week later or 2 days or 2 weeks later, you let people get it out of their systems, right? The people that like Last Epoch and PoE 2, if you let it give them 2 weeks, they can get Last Epoch out of their systems. I think you'll have even more people playing PoE 2. Then people say, well, PoE 2 is way bigger. They don't give a shit about Last Epoch. I mean,
that's exactly right. Again, it's Big Brother pushing around Little Brother, and Raxx is echoing something that I've been saying forever. What happened to the days where you play a month of this season, you play a month of Torchlight, then a month of Diablo, then a month of PoE, then a month of Last Epoch, then a month of the AAA, and then everything resets? Like, what happened to that awesome live service model where every month your favorite games are dropping something new? I really, really miss that. And it just seems like now it's about competing with each other and dropping on top of each other. And it feels terrible.
Maybe. And that's I guess a reasonable take, but also they're owned by the same company. And I mean, wouldn't you just like to have more players? I mean, I think you get more. If everyone gets the Last Epoch out of their systems, I think in almost all cases, you get more players. Okay. So I think you could argue it the other way as well. Yeah. So that's kind of the interesting thing that's going on. Strange move. I like both games. I'll play all 4 of them, especially the No Rest for the Wicked thing. That update sounded pretty sick, actually.
Juicy.
But I don't know. This would be definitely a topic where I would be very interested to hear what you guys think and see what comments people upvote and don't. But this is not the first time that this has happened. And I don't know, is this happening on purpose? Is it just a magical coincidence that it's 2 days apart? I think in this case, it actually might be a coincidence. I mean, I think Diablo 4 had their date first and No Rest for the Wicked picked the day after. That's questionable date choice there, if that's the order of operations on how that happened. But in general, as an ARPG enjoyer and enjoy PoE 1 as well, I would love it if these gaming companies would stop releasing games at least in the same week. At least give me 7 days to blast them. And then I think a lot of people, and I think in some cases the companies would benefit as well. But I'm interested what you guys think. Do you think this is planned? Do you think this is some kind of predatory move? Do you think PoE 2 is cannibalizing Last Epoch? Do you think Last Epoch should move their date? Should they move it earlier? Should they move it forward? very interesting topics here. Anyway, that's what happened today, guys. One last thing I want to say. I think in the last month, I have made less YouTube videos than I ever have in my 5 years of content creation. It's for no particular reason. It's only that there just hasn't been much going on. I did kill 7 of 7 pinnacle bosses in PoE 1, and I had never fought them before. I was going to make a video showing me fighting them, but then I look back historically, and people don't give a crap about videos about players' achievements. People like guides or opinion pieces like this, much better than, oh, hey, I killed all 7 of the pinnacle bosses, so that's why I didn't even make the video. But rest assured, with Last Epoch coming up and PoE 2 coming up very soon, I'm still going to make a shitload of guides for you guys and a ton of content. I'll make some content probably on D4. Again, not to diss D4, I just actually don't even know what to say. I don't really want to make a guide on how I can't fight the boss anyway. I don't really want to make a guide on Uber Belial, because that's like the main thing for you to do. If I make a guide on the only thing to do, I guess maybe if you're looking up a guide, you just want the answer, and that's fine. But I don't know. I don't know if I want to spoil it for you guys. I could even make some content on No Rest for the Wicked. If you don't know this game, you should check it out. It's getting a massive, massive update at the end of April.
I think it's on sale right now, too.
But I just want to say, rest assured, a million more videos are coming. Nothing about me has changed. Nothing about the channel has changed. We're going to be blasting a lot of guides for many more years to come.
Awesome. Raxx, awesome video. I'll link Raxx's video in the description. Okay, let me say this. If it was possible, I think it is a terrible decision to push Last Epoch's date back. So push it to mid-April or continue to just keep getting pushed around. I do think that's the wrong decision. You're always going to run into competition, all right? What I think is the best thing is move it up a week. They have been preparing, they've been over preparing, they are doing everything they can. Patch notes are likely coming earlier. We've been testing the game on CT for months, and I think moving the game up a week is the right decision. That gives players, content creators, everybody 9 days to digest Last Epoch, which is a good amount of time. And then, you know, like, you never know how PoE's launch is going to go. If, you know, if there's any server problems or anything that happens, you kind of got a PoE 2 waiting room with Last Epoch. I do think Last Epoch should drop first. And honestly, let's just say, for example, Twitch drops aren't working, or you can't move Twitch drops. It would be better to move it a week up and just give everyone the damn Twitch drops for free than lose 90 to 95% of your content creators that are going to be jumping to PoE 2 anyways. So there's going to be nobody watching for the Twitch drops. So, like, that is my thinking. I think they should try and move it up a week, regardless of what that means, and get the game out week 3 of March. So that is my perspective. They've already been marketing it. They've already got 1.7, 1.8 million views on their trailer. They're doing their press tour right now. You could probably move around some of those dates. Gazzy this Friday, then Talkative Try, then me as far as interviews go. And I think they should try and move it up. Last thing I want to say. And by the way, I don't hate grinding your games. I played almost 300 hours of Path of Exile 2. I also want to play 0 to 0. Okay? This is what I'm going to say. I will say, and I know this is a very, 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 very small fraction of the people that actually play Path of Exile 2. What GGG did is they did set themselves up to look like the bad guy. At least here in America, we love the underdog. We love rooting for the person that's supposed to get crushed. And GGG just set themselves up as Sauron, right? Like, oh, we don't give a rat's a about you. We're supposed to be friends, but we'll just kick you off the cliff. We are literally trying to murder your launch that you've been working on for 9 months. Like, tough luck. Lots of people are like, F that, screw that. I can't believe it. I feel so sick. What happened to grinding your games? Like, regardless if you agree or disagree, it has nothing to do with the games. They have set themselves up as the bad guy. So that's where I want to end this video. Again, all of Raxx's socials are in the description, and let me know your thoughts Do you think this is good, intentional, bad? What is going to happen to Last Epoch? Hopefully you're entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.